Many are upset over the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, with some people claiming that it was rigged because many people bet a lot of money and they lost a lot of money. Allegedly, there's this script that got leaked showing how the fight was supposed to go down between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
Jake Paul and Mike Tyson have just been hit with a lawsuit for pulling off one of the biggest scams in recent boxing history. What were you two thinking? Fans waited for 6 long months in anticipation of this so-called legendary fight, only to be served a scripted, disappointing mess. Sure, you might have had your reasons, but let's be honest, what was the point of hyping this event so much if you were just going to deliver absolutely nothing in return? You didn't just waste people's time, money, and energy, you toyed with the emotions of millions of boxing fans.
The Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight.
Interesting.
Script.
How so? What do you mean by
It's just
script?
weird. It's just
Like
Mike-
scripted in what way?
no, I don't know. I actually really like Jake Paul. It just seems so. It's odd, bro.
The timing. It's a timing.
I mean,
He
it's
fights
obviously
two-
odd.
No, he fights 2 no names, beats them both.
How do you plan to make up for this disaster? Let me tell you, the damage is done. No one is ever going to believe in a real fight again. And it's not just your reputations that are in ruins. You've dragged the entire sport of boxing down with you. Congratulations, you've hit a new low.
Well, X has spoken. The fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X a few days ago.
Fans shelled out millions for this chaotic mess. Pay-per-view buys, sold-out tickets, anticipation at an all-time high. But what did we actually get? A fight so fake even WWE fans were like, we've seen better. Jake strutted out with a $4 million payday. Tyson walked away with $20 million, and the audience left holding an empty bag. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, a leaked script surfaces and a screenplay materialized around $130,000. Surprise, surprise, furious fans are now suing, calling this exactly what it was: false advertising at its finest.
Reason and one reason only, and that is the money. He's getting paid so much money to do this. So that tells me he's getting bought. So again, it is sad that someone like Mike Tyson.
Round 1 begins, and we all think maybe this won't be so bad. Tyson comes in with his classic moves, and Paul moves around like he's the next Muhammad Ali. Tyson lands a few jabs, Paul throws a quick combo, but wait, is this real? Tyson's timing was so off it felt like he was moving in slow motion, and Paul looked like he was just trying not to trip over his own confidence.
So round 1 was supposed to go like this. The opening bell rings and Tyson, showing flashes of his old form, immediately stalks forward with his signature bob and weave style. Paul maintains distance, circling the ring cautiously. Tyson lands a few jabs, but Paul's youth shows in his superior ability.
Round 2 starts, and Tyson lands a strong left hook. The crowd cheers for about 5 seconds, then reality sets in. Tyson's energy is already low, and Paul, full of energy, like a kid on too much sugar, is bouncing around like it's just a playground fight.
Prime. Round 2. Tyson comes alive, cutting off the ring more effectively. He lands a thunderous left hook to Paul's body that draws a collective gasp from the crowd. Paul weathers the storm using his reach advantage.
By round 3, Paul's ego is fully inflated. He lands a decent right cross that briefly stuns Tyson. Tyson tries to fight back, but it's obvious his signature moves have turned into slow, awkward swings. Meanwhile, Paul is walking around like he just knocked out the ghost of Muhammad Ali. It's embarrassing for Tyson, Paul, and the sport of boxing. By round 5, did we get a punch? Of course not. Instead, we got a long, drawn-out decision win for Jake Paul. The audience, both in the arena and at home, probably felt like they'd wasted more than just their money. They didn't tune in for an amateur show. They tuned in for a battle of legends. What they got was more like a bad high school drama with boxing gloves. The grand finale? A scripted knockout.
3. Paul gains confidence, starting to plant his feet more. He lands a sharp right cross that momentarily stuns Tyson. The former champion responds with a vintage combination, but Paul slips most of it.
By round 5, did we get a punch? Of course not. Instead, we got a long, drawn-out decision win for Jake Paul. The audience, both in the arena and at home, probably felt like they'd wasted more than just their money. They didn't tune in for an amateur show, they tuned in for a battle of legends. What they got was more like a bad high school drama with boxing gloves. The grand finale? A scripted knockout.
That catches him flush on the chin. Tyson's leg buckle and he drops to the canvas. Then he's out for the count, but Tyson, despite his warrior heart, cannot beat the 10 count. Winner Jake Paul by KO. What?
But wait, let's talk about the real issue here. Mike Tyson's health. Just months before this circus act, Tyson was literally fighting for his life. He had 8 blood transfusions, and half of his blood was gone due to complications from an ulcer. And somehow, someone thought, yeah, this guy is ready to fight. Texas, you deserve a round of applause for setting the bar so low, it's underground. Their medical clearance process is the joke. Tyson, who had lost 25 pounds and was recovering from a near-death experience, was thrown into the ring with someone half his age, and we're supposed to believe this wasn't just a cash grab? Tyson didn't even try to hide it. He straight up said, "I did it for my bills." Think about that. The man who once ruled boxing ended up in a scripted circus just to pay his bills. It's tragic. Tyson walked away with $20 million, sure, but at what cost? His legacy? His dignity? Honestly, it's heartbreaking to see a legend sink this low.
We had to see that because if I hadn't saw that, I would be worried that this fight may not even
Jake, where do we even start with him? He constantly markets himself as the savior of boxing, but in reality, he's the one who's turned the sport into a circus filled with scripted antics and fake rivalries. Tyson Fury, a fighter who truly deserved so much more, has been reduced to just another pawn in Jake's self-serving game.
Reason and one reason only, and that is the money. He's getting paid so much money to do this. So that tells me he's getting bought. So again, it is sad that someone like Mike Tyson...
But let's not let Tyson off the hook here either. This fight wasn't about skill or legacy. It was all about the money. Jake Paul didn't just fight Tyson, he used him. Tyson was nothing more than a tool, a legendary name Jake needed to line his pockets with another payday disguised as a boxing match. This wasn't a competition, it was a cash grab dressed up as a historic event. Fans spent their hard-earned money on tickets and pay-per-view, thinking they were about to witness an epic clash. Instead, they got what felt like a YouTube parody of a real fight. The only thing missing was Jake vlogging mid-round about how he's revolutionizing the sport.
Power at all? No. He hit you with one, and you gave him the tongue. Only because the crowd, got turned up, but it...
Then Jake had the nerve to claim, "I didn't want to hurt Mike." Oh, please. Let's not pretend this was some noble act of restraint. Jake Paul isn't a hero sparing a legend. He's a businessman, exploiting every bit of Tyson's legacy for his own profit. And let's be real, Tyson knew exactly what this was. He even admitted he took the fight to pay his bills. Imagine being the heavyweight champion of the world, a boxing icon, and ending up as just a side character in Jake Paul's reality show. It's tragic. The backlash was brutal, and rightfully so. Boxing legends like Evander Holyfield and Buster Douglas didn't hold back in criticizing the fight. Holyfield called out Tyson's awful balance and movement, while Douglas slammed it as a cash grab that disrespected the integrity of boxing. And they're right. Tyson, once a dominant force, had become a sluggish shadow of his former self. Meanwhile, Jake strutted around like he had just reinvented the sport. You know you've crossed a line when...
I'm just fighting to take care of my bills, basically. I don't have the stomach for this kind of no more. I'm more conscious of my children and those guys looking at my parents. I don't have that ferocity. I'm not an animal anymore.
Does that mean we won't see you?
For fans, the entire ordeal was a slap in the face. Pay-per-view outages and Netflix streaming failures only made things worse, turning the experience into a nightmare. You fork out top dollar for a fight that was promised to be thrilling, only to be left staring at buffering screens, or even worse, watching a painfully lackluster performance. It was like paying for a gourmet meal, only to be served stale fast food. And as if the fight itself wasn't disappointing enough, the leaked script made everything feel even more manufactured.
Your friend Mike Tyson tweeted that he almost died over the summer. He said, he had a bunch of blood transfusions, just had to fight to get healthy, and then his performance yesterday against Jake Paul. Just your thoughts on what we saw.
Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong.
However, for many fans, it wasn't just about feeling cheated, they felt manipulated. The match played out exactly as the leaked script predicted, raising serious doubts that it was all staged. And really, how could anyone think otherwise? This wasn't a fight, it was WWE without the fireworks.
First and foremost, Mike Tyson, it's such an honor. Let's give it up for Mike, bro. He's a legend. He's the greatest to ever do it.
Of course, social media exploded. Memes mocking Jake Paul and Mike Tyson flooded every platform, with fans labeling the fight as boxing's biggest joke. They accused both fighters of staging what many saw as a glorified exhibition. And then came the lawsuits. Bettors, who had put their money on what they believed was a legitimate competition, were furious. Who could blame them? Millions had been wagered on this circus, and the outcome felt as predictable as the ending of a soap opera.
Everything. But my kids, to my children, I'm nobody. But that night they're going to find out their father's very special.
His balance seemed off, but let's take a step back. This fight wasn't just a letdown. It was a glaring example of everything that's wrong with modern boxing. Both fans and critics agree, Jake Paul's fights are more about spectacle than skill. He's not a boxer, he's a brand. Watching Tyson struggle in the ring was heartbreaking. The man who once ruled the sport now seemed to be fighting just to survive the next round. It wasn't inspiring, it was downright sad.
Well, X has spoken. The fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X a few days ago.
Here's the harsh truth. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson took $60 million from fans and gave them nothing but regret. Tyson's legacy took a blow, while Jake Paul solidified his reputation as the king of hype over real talent. It was a betrayal. Fans don't ask for much. They want genuine competition, not a scripted show. If this is the future of boxing, we might as well add theme music and choreographed dance routines. At this point, it's clear they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
I just think I can handle the situation.
You gonna knock him out?
I think I'm gonna hurt him.
Tyson's revelation was clear. At the end of the day, it was a scam, a slap in the face to every fan who believed in it, and a mockery of a sport that once meant something. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson didn't just fail to deliver, they actively shattered any remaining respect people had for this kind of spectacle. To the fans suing over this mess, good luck, you deserve every penny back and more. As for Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, congratulations, you've officially turned boxing into a parody.